right, so this is juicy. Robert Salas, famous UFO witness of the Malmstrom UFO event where UFOs shut down 10 ICBMs at a nuclear missile silo. Well, he recently testified to AARO, and we have part of that audio recording of that interview. Really interesting stuff. This just dropped, breaking news. And there's a really juicy point in there when he asked if, if they can get any information from the Air Force. And, well, I'll let you listen to what he has to say, but he is talking to none other than Sean Kirkpatrick and one other man, possibly his acting deputy. That is Kirkpatrick's acting deputy. I don't know who he is. But anyway, he's working with Sean at AARO, and they are both interviewing Robert Salas. And it was really intriguing. So let's talk about it. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, here goes.
All right. So yeah, let's listen to this clip. I think it's very interesting. Here we go.
Can I ask, will you be sending inquiries to the Air Force about the comments I've made?
I defer to Kevin on this one. Well, like, for example, like which one?
Well, whether or not they concur that both Echo and Oscar flight lost strategic alert during UFO sightings.
Well, so not directly. I mean, we've kind of already inquired with the Air Force several things, even less specific, like where is all the U2 footage? Literally, where'd that film go? Where is it stored? Was it ever digitized? Where might copies of it be? I'm still trying to run down questions like that because we interviewed some former pilots who told us about events that they've witnessed and their airplanes may have captured, and testing crews, security policemen, all these different places where the Air Force may have some kind of audio-visual recording of it. And part of the problem is we're talking about things that happened obviously long before any of the people currently serving in the Air Force were serving. And they're a couple of generations removed. And when you go talk to them about where are the Afotech films from the Atlas rocket launches in the early 1960s from Vandenberg, I can't find anybody that knows. And it could have been that they were disposed of so long ago that it's not even in the corporate memory anymore, or maybe they are stored somewhere. So we're still working on trying to get answers to a bunch of basic questions like that.
Wow. I think, well, I mean, I certainly know this is the first anyone has ever heard one of these AARO interviews, and thank you so much for letting us be the first to share this.
Okay, so it's interesting that the guy that Sean is working with says that they haven't asked the Air Force specifically about this information, but they have been trying to get information out of them before, and they haven't been able to get it. So it'll be really interesting to see if they do follow up on this, and if they do ask, the Air Force for these documents and this information about this incident. It'd be very interesting if so. If they can't find it, that would be really telling, because it's a big deal. I'm not going to read, a long article about it, but I can read one little paragraph about the incident. Air Force Captain Robert Salas, that gentleman you just saw, right there, at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana in 1967, when 10 ICBMs he was overseeing suddenly became inoperative. At the same time, base security informed him of a mysterious red glowing object in the sky. So, if the Air Force can't find any documents or data pertaining to a UFO shutting off 10 nukes, You have to wonder what's going on there. Could they really not find it, or are they hiding it? Did they destroy it? Because they have a long history of doing all of the above, right? Or at least of destroying it or hiding it. I've been going back to Roswell, right? Here's the Roswell affair, and talking about all the disinformation that was put out. Yeah, and I believe this was a French intelligence report that was put out that studied Roswell. And here we go. At the very bottom, all of the base's administrative documents talking about Roswell for the March 1945 to December 1949 period were destroyed. So during that 4-year time span, the Roswell Air Force Base, all the records were destroyed. And all radio messages sent by the base from October 1946 to February 1949 were destroyed as well. The destruction report does not mention when, by whom, and on whose orders this destruction was carried out. Yeah. So, and this has happened over and over again. You know, the Black Vault has FOIA'd stuff that has gone missing, right? And et cetera. This has been going on forever. That the UFO documents and data gets destroyed or misplaced. They can't find it. It's ridiculous that they expect us to believe any of that. And of course, the flip side of this is that AARO has not asked the Air Force for any of this documentation. So why hasn't AARO asked for this? Now, and you have a UFO shutting off 10 nukes. And, by the way, this is part of a series of incidents. This article goes through several different times where UFOs have interfered in a nuclear facility. Robert Jamieson, a retired USAF nuclear missile targeting officer, told of several occasions having to go out and restart missiles that had been deactivated after UFOs were sighted nearby. Several occasions. It was just kind of common for him to go out and have to restart nukes because UFOs had turned them off. And these are, people that had given testimony to AARO, these various witnesses in this article. And I'll link that to you. Guys. But so I mean, this is something that happened repeatedly, that UFOs would interfere in nukes. So we need to ask the Air Force for this information, specifically for this stuff, because it looks like AARO wasn't asking specifically for this stuff. They were trying to get some U2 spy footage, I guess, of UFOs, and they weren't able to get it. So if the Air Force can't deliver this and these other incidents, then clearly that's a pattern. They're hiding stuff, right? If it happens one time, maybe you could say it's an accident. Maybe. I mean, come on. 10 nukes being shut off. You're not going to keep those records. Come on. Really? Really? The other, the flip side is, can we really trust that AARO is going to sincerely endeavor to get to the bottom of it? I mean, we're talking, Sean Kirkpatrick here, right? Who has done nothing but lie and obfuscate since he became the director of AARO. Obviously his hearing / briefing before Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and Senator Ernst was a bunch of BS. He says, no evidence of ET. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, if we did find evidence, we wouldn't do anything with it. We would just give it to NASA. NASA, of course, has been hiding this stuff these many decades, scrubbing it out of videos, airbrushing it out of still pictures, etc. So, if it goes to NASA, it goes there to die. AARO was our shining hope of actually having a government agency that was sincerely trying to investigate this and get to the bottom of it. That is why AARO was formed. It was formed after a huge grassroots movement sparked by Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, and TTSA when they released those videos, and got the pilots to come out and testify and all that kind of stuff. So that got the public engaged and interested in taking the subject seriously, many of them for the first time, myself included. And that started this huge grassroots movement that eventually engaged Congress. and got them to sign AARO into law to actually investigate this issue. And then we have the director of AARO coming out, nothing but lies, saying that the goal of AARO is for AARO not to exist. Oh, and by the way, if they did find evidence of ETs, they would just give it to NASA. So AARO essentially has no point other than to be a clearinghouse for this information. That is what they have referred to it as a clearinghouse for this information. They just funnel it off to the respective agency. If it's a balloon, it goes to the balloon guys. If it's a Chinese drone, it goes to the Chinese drone guys. Russian drone guys. So ET or extra dimensionals, whatever, goes to NASA. I'm lumping extra dimensionals in there. Ultra terrestrials, I assume that all falls under the ET umbrella as far as what to do with that material. But, you know, who knows? Maybe they do have some extra. I'm realizing there may be something dirty on the side of the screen. But yeah, they may have some extra protocol for other dimensional vehicles. That'd be kind of interesting. But at any rate, AARO is led by a guy who says that AARO shouldn't exist and that AARO is simply a clearinghouse for this information, and they will give it to NASA if it is ET. So AARO has no function. It's not led as a sincere effort to investigate or get to the bottom of anything. So can we trust that they are really trying to get this information out of the Air Force? If they do, tepidly, lukewarmly, go to the Air Force and say, hey, you got some documents for us? We're not expecting anything, no biggie if you can't find it. But yeah, you got some documents I have to write down that I asked. And, Air Force says, you know what? Couldn't find it. So, and they don't press them. They don't, really try to get that information out of them. Yeah. So I have sincere doubts that they are trying to get the information out of the Air Force because they don't seem to be a sincere effort to do anything. Yeah. So anyway, I'm very frustrated by this whole affair. The Air Force not complying, which is a pattern that we've seen over and over again at this point. And AARO not sincerely investigating, or even having a reason to exist at this point. As Sean Kirkpatrick himself said, the goal of AARO is for it not to exist. So anyway, it's all very frustrating, but these are serious incidents where we have UFOs shutting down nuclear facilities and missiles. And these witnesses to these events, military guys, stand-up guys, nobody is doubting their credibility. They are testifying to AARO, and for the first time, we get a little glimpse into that. We have this a few minutes of audio, and there may be more coming out later. And if so, I'll go through it and see if there's any juicy bits in there for you guys. But basically, I'm very underwhelmed by what's going on. Underwhelmed by the good stuff and overwhelmed by the amount of BS. So, but those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video or gotten something out of it, please give it a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate that. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and of course the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. And if you would share this video when it drops on social media, that would be super helpful. There are plenty of other videos on the channel for you guys to check out. So until next time, this is Jack with Cosmic Roads signing out.